I just had a birthday this week. Thank you. Hold the applause. In all seriousness though, like birthdays are a time for you to pause and reflect. I'm 32 now, and specifically of the last like 10 years or so, transitioning from your 20s to your 30s, that's a lot of life that happens. And it's true what they say, the older you get, the faster time moves and the faster birthdays come. So in this video, I thought it'd be fun to like share a few of those reflections and lessons. What did I wish I knew at 20? What did I change my mind on? What advice do you hear that's well-intended, although not well-experienced? Oh, and I'm shooting this, excuse the location. We just moved into a new house, which is pretty rad. It's a rental, a lot more space, so maybe I'll give you a little house tour in between. Don't exactly have the studio set up yet, but we'll make do. Let's kick it off with big, broad perspective. I call this playing the hand you're dealt, not wishing for different cards. Let me set this up a bit for you because it puts the whole decade and really your whole life in perspective, I think. Most people believe there's one currency, money. There's actually three. Money is one of them, but you also have energy and your time. Pair this with the fact that there are three stages in life: young, adult, and old. Now here's the kicker. At any one of these stages, you normally have two, but not all three currencies. Example, when you're young, you have a ton of time and a ton of energy, not a lot of money. When you're an adult, you have a ton of money because you're in a career, hopefully. You have a ton of energy, but you still don't have a lot of time. You know, you're raising kids, you're at the office, you're working 40, 50 hours a week. And then when you retire in old age, you hopefully have a significant more amount of money and time, but you don't really have the energy you did when you were an adult or when you were young. The perspective shift that really helped me in my 20s was playing the hand you're dealt, not wishing for different cards. It is so easy at any stage of your life to wish you had the missing currency. All that pain of what you were lacking motivates you to take the certain actions you need. If you don't have money and you want to travel, that constraint actually puts a fun mix into the plan. I've never stayed in a 5-star hotel, but I can imagine, you know, it's nice, but it's also a different experience than when you're solo backpacking on the cheap, you're staying in hostels, you're taking late night bus rides. And I'm willing to bet when you're 80 years old, if you did both those back to back, you're gonna remember the solo, roughing it, punk rock version of you that took on the world. When you're young and scrappy, that's normally when people start startups because they don't have money and they can work and they have time and energy and they use sweat equity. Some of the biggest businesses you know happen that way. When I was starting out on YouTube in my 20s, I didn't have money to hire editors or cameras. So I just used the gear I had and I fell in love with the editing process. And that was how I was able to produce tons and tons of videos on the cheap, bootstrap. You're not supposed to have money in your 20s. And I think sometimes that's a good thing because what we prioritize and would spend it on is very different than when we get later down the road. I believe one of the biggest lessons in your 20s is to grow as a person or in a career by not having money. And when you build the skills, the character, the work ethic, then the money comes and now you're a different person and you're responsible with it. So the best part of this place is, let me show you. Hi, buddy. Give me that. I saw this article the other day, how millennials aren't buying houses for the sake of being homeowners or like as an investment. The biggest reason they're buying houses, you know what it is? For their dogs, for their pets. I'm not lying if I said that wasn't a huge factor for us getting this place. Especially our dog, he's kind of reactive. He's got 3 legs, so little special needs. People ask, how did he lose the leg? I say, dude, one day we just got really mad and we actually don't know. We just adopted him like that. You like your yard, bud? Yeah, you like your yard. This next piece of advice is to take more risks. Now I know you've probably heard that and you're tempted to write it off as just, oh yeah, I heard it a million times, take more risks, got it, on to the next. But seriously, there is no better time in your life than now to take some big risks. Risk looks different for everyone. You know, for some this is taking a job in a new city and starting over just to see what if. For others, it's solo backpacking around the world. Maybe it's starting a business and just running that for 2 years. Maybe it's dating the person that you're 50-50 on. He's given American Psycho vibes and might be an axe murderer, but is that really so bad? Understand that the more commitments you have, the harder it is to take those kinds of risks. If you get married, now it's not just you thinking about you, you're thinking about someone else. When you have kids, it's not just you, it's you thinking about them, how it affects them. If you're working a minimum wage or entry-level job and you're nervous about asking for 2 months off, I get it. That can, cause a lot of what ifs. But just imagine how much harder it would be if you actually had a stable career that you're like going up in, asking for 2 months off in that sense. So the less commitments you have, the more risky you can be. Here's a bit of a tactical side point, a bit more random I'll throw in here. Document more. Like, not for Instagram or photos or videos, those are fine, but for yourself. Like, I wish I would have documented the nuances and day-to-day a little more, whether it's writing in a journal or recording voice memos on your phone, or get in the habit of every single birthday, sit down with the camera and talk about what's going on in your life for 10, 20 minutes. You're gonna look back on those and be so glad you did. All right, let me show you the studio, how this is looking. Got the desk set up right there. Nothing on this wall yet. I'm excited to redecorate the room. Let me know in the comments, do you guys like brighter videos, natural light, or do you like more of that like dark, moody? What do you watch more of? Because we could go either way. We got both. And just like that, you have a full-blown studio. It's the little things in life I get so excited about. This is like my favorite thing in the house. Here's a bit of a deeper, nuanced point, but definitely a personal lesson for me that I look back on. When you ask most people, what does freedom mean? You'll probably hear things like an X amount of dollars in the bank account, certain house, certain net worth. It's tempting to think that money can solve all problems. But haven't you heard stories of people who've had it all, who've had financial freedom up the yin-yang, and they still don't feel free internally? This was a huge lesson. I learned that freedom is very different from inner peace. And that if you just pursue external freedom through money, that's one type, but it still doesn't mean you have that internal freedom, that freedom of inner peace, freedom from the inner critic telling you negative things all day, or self-judgments or self-attack. And the irony that I realized is sometimes the things you build to gain one type of freedom can isolate you and cut you off from that other type of freedom, that deep inner peace that you want. I'll just be 100% honest, because this is what I was reflecting on for my 20s. I was obsessed with building a business and gaining, financial freedom in my 20s, and really growing this YouTube channel so I could reach a lot of people. But this YouTube channel sort of became, at certain points in my 20s, an unhealthy obsession. Like 24/7, 365, I was always thinking in the background. I would watch a movie and be like, oh, would that be a good story in the YouTube channel? Oh, did I film a video this week? What do the numbers say? And I realized that in having that hell-bent, laser-focused vision of building a business and saying no to potential friendships because it didn't align with like what I was doing, or saying no to vacations, like my mom and they wanted to go to Disney World, and I was like, no, I gotta work, I gotta build my business, sorry. Like on one hand, that extreme discipline paid off because it allowed me to gain a certain type of freedom and lifestyle that I'm so fortunate on. But taken too far, I've seen the early warning signs of what it can cut you off from, which is what you really want, that state of inner peace. And this lesson, full disclosure, is something I'm still working on. It's been a recent realization, probably the last 12 months. And this year I really want to commit to like tapping into all different kinds of freedom, not just one form. So whether that's the freedom of inner peace from your own thoughts or judgments or being so hard on yourself, whether it's freedom of creativity, big one, of not just making videos that juice an algorithm, but like, what do we really want to create? We have this beautiful opportunity of people together on this channel that are into positive ideas and changing your life and becoming the best version of you. So I get excited when you realize there is such a upper limit of freedom that I have not tapped into. There is such an upper limit of inner peace, self-healing that is left for you to squeeze more juice out of. Almost getting excited in a not masochistic way when you find a problem or something wrong, because you're like, great, that is an opportunity for you to go right there. So if you ever feel stuck, look for problems. Look for what you feel drained by. Look for where you feel stagnation. Look for where you want to experience more freedom in the form of peace. Let me show you my favorite room of the house. I'm so excited about this. I've been a drummer for a long time, and I always said, one of these days, I'm gonna get a drum set in my place. Spent way too much money on this, which I realize is ironic after I just told you freedom of money doesn't matter. But dude, this has like been on my list forever. I said I wasn't gonna get an electronic drum. I was a bit of a purist. I'm like, oh, I gotta feel it. I love the acoustic drums. I gotta say, man, hearing the mix of this in your ears with music is a game changer. It's too soon to say, but I might even like it a little better. And your neighbors don't hate you as well. This next point is having your experiences and living through your experiences, not other people's. It's good to learn from people who are further ahead, who have really good advice, sure. I realize that's what we're doing in this video, so of course. But let me give you a metaphor to put this in perspective. Life is sort of like climbing a mountain. And so imagine you're at the start and you're wondering what's up there. Like, what does the view look like? What kind of foliage is there? What can you see from the top? Well, unless you climb the mountain, all you're gonna know is what other people tell you. Oh, these trees are this shade of green, and oh yeah, the terrain looks like a little rocky. Moreover, it's sort of impossible to explain the view. You have to see it for yourself. And you don't get that real perspective change when you de-summit and you go back down and you live your life knowing what everything looks like out there, unless you do it yourself. Even a photo, even a video, it doesn't convey the same smells, the same sounds, the same feeling. So my point on this is don't be afraid to experience things for yourself. In fact, I think that's necessary for your development and your growth. When you hear people say money doesn't make you happy, well, that's good to understand the importance of it in context, but it's also shouldn't deter you from never trying and seeing for yourself. Or you hear jaded people's perspective, whether it's on dating, whether it's on health, whether it's on opinions, politics, what you name it. This is how the world works and you gotta believe it this way, otherwise you're XYZ. Really? Let me see for myself. This person is so bad, they did ABC. Really? Let me meet them and form my own opinion. And I get it, there's a lot of pressure in your 20s. Like any other decade, I feel your 20s have the most pressure. But here's the thing, your biggest fear should not be making the wrong choice. It should be an action. Your biggest fear should be staying stuck, not taking the first couple steps up the mountain. So when you try something, when you take a risk, when you start a business and maybe it doesn't work out, that is still a win. You're like, what? No, the point of the business was to do XYZ. That was my goal. It is still a win because guess what? Now you get to check it off. You have experience. And even if you don't end up doing that thing, you're not gonna spend 1, 2, 5, 10 years wondering what if, like most people do. Most people stay in this analysis paralysis for years, if not decades. And they're like, I really wanna start a YouTube channel, let's say, because you're here, you're watching this, so I know maybe that's been on your mind. And so instead of like taking the first step of filming a few videos and seeing if they actually like making content, they research, they, think about it, they put it off for a year, 2 years. But the beautiful thing is if you start as soon as you do, you can realize, do I actually like making content? Maybe this whole thing isn't for me. And that's a beautiful thing if you find it's not, because now you can check it off the list and you never have to think about it and you get those 2 years back of what if that you can put towards something that you do love, that you do vibe with, that is for you. It's also finding out what you don't want to do and trying to piece together what you might like from that. It's a lot of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that is a beautiful thing. That is how you quote unquote find your passion, find your path. Because remember, the biggest fear should not be making the wrong choice. Your biggest fear should be making no choice. This makes him go absolutely crazy. Come here. Oh, fish on, big fish, big fish. This one may or may not make the cut, but I know if it applies to you, like this lesson, I wish I would have had 10 years ago. I'll call this one escaping the grind set. Understand that there's 2 energies you can operate out of. The first is this force-like energy, where it's more for the sake of more. It's faster. It's working longer, working harder, having more discipline. But the second kind of energy that you can create from and source from and really get ahead with. This is out of power. This is out of your creative life force, where things aren't a grind. It's an expression of you. You're creating out of excitement and almost this like playful, childlike obsession, curiosity, where you're figuring things out and it's all you think about and you just can't wait to work on it. That has a different energy than I'm just forcing it to escape it. Like I'm trying to make a lot of money so I don't have to worry about money and I don't have to work. That makes no sense. I'm trying to build something that inspires a lot of people. I read a lot. I'm so excited to share these ideas. I come alive when I'm doing this. I feel in a flow state. You see how much better of an energy that has when you can tap into that. And let me tell you firsthand, I'm bringing this full circle for you. What I learned is there were months, if not years, where I was creating and forcing things from this energy. And when I look back on like the big leaps in my personal growth, in my happiness, in my business, in my character development, it was never from this place. It was always from this place. It was when I was creating out of inspiration, not obligation, gotta feed the machine, gotta feed the content gods and the algorithm. I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying don't structure your day if that works for you. But personally, speaking from my experience, is one of the best insights I've had this year is sometimes the way to get ahead is to do less, but better. You work 16 hours a day. Okay, well, really, let's be real here. Of those 16, how many are ultimately productive versus how many are you just kind of like tidying up an inbox, procrastinating on that big task you have to do? 4, maybe 5, 6 at the most. In other words, you're spending 10 hours in a fear state of those 6. So what if you just focus on the 6 and in the other 10, you go for a walk, you do the things you love, you call a friend. I realized one of the most productive things I can do is slow down, is to go for a walk, is to get some sunlight, is to go on a run, to meditate. All these things that sound like they're taking time away from this actually feed back into it and make your work, your creation, you better. So remember that yes, work ethic is important. Yes, discipline, pushing through when you don't always feel like it. Those are all great things. But taken to the extreme, it can put you in this camp where you're grinding yourself down to close to nothing and you feel drained. Try your best to prioritize slowing down, doing less but better. Those are some reflections from the birthday journal session, what I wish I knew in my 20s. What do you think of the format? You like this conversational style? Bit different, change of scenery, bit looser? Let me know in the comments below. And right here, I'll link up a great follow-up, I think, in this tone on a challenge I did, reading 7 books in 7 days, where I kind of vlogged the whole thing, give you some insights. I'm really proud of the video. I think it turned out well, and I know there's a ton in there if you're just ready to like get some great ideas that set your week up and your life up for success. That's a great video right there. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you, love you, and I'll see you in the next one.